Rain taps softly on the window. The room is breathing cold and slow. I left one lamp beside the sofa. The hallway light is fading out. My sweater hangs across the chair, like someone almost stayed around. The clock keeps moving without mercy. The floor remembers every sound. I make tea I never finish, and watch the steam fall back down. The city blurs behind the glass. A siren fades across the street. I tell myself the night will pass, but silence sits too close to me. Tonight feels lonely in this room. The rain keeps talking to the walls. Tonight feels lonely without reason, like footsteps stopping in the hall. I fold the blanket one more time, but still the corners will not stay. Tonight feels lonely, soft and quiet, and I just let it rain. Nothing special, a headline, weather, missed alarm. I scroll through faces I don't answer, then place it gently in my palm. The kitchen window shows reflections of cars that slide through silver streets. For one small second I remember how home once sounded less empty. The night bus turns around the corner, its headlights cross the ceiling line. I almost laugh at something simple, then lose the thought before it shines. Tonight feels lonely in this room. The rain keeps talking to the walls. Tonight feels lonely without reason, like footsteps stopping in the hall. I fold the blanket one more time, but still the corners will not stay. Tonight feels lonely, soft and quiet, and I just let it rain. Maybe some nights are made for listening to everything we pushed away. Maybe the heart needs one dark window to say the words it couldn't say. Tonight feels lonely in this room, but I am still here after all. Tonight feels lonely, almost gentle, like rain that knows when not to call. I hold the blanket to my shoulders and breathe until the feeling fades. Tonight feels lonely, but it's passing, and I can let it rain. Rain taps softly on the window. Morning waits behind the gray. A shoebox slipped from the closet and scattered years across the floor. I was looking for an old umbrella, the red one with the broken string. Behind my winter coats and letters, I found a box of smaller things. Movie tickets, folded napkins, a key that fits no door, I know. Then one photo faced the ceiling from a summer long ago. You stood beside a rainy window, laughing at your ruined hair. I had forgotten that blue jacket, but I remember being there. I found your picture in the rain, not outside but in my hands. I found your picture by surprise, like time and made a quiet plan. Your smile was younger than my memory, the room went still around the frame. I found your picture in the rain, and everything came back again. The corner had a coffee stain. Your name was written on the back. My handwriting looked so careful, like I was scared the ink would crack. The thunder rolled above the rooftop. The closet door stayed open wide. I sat down with the photograph and let that afternoon arrive. We bought cheap bread from the station, shared it under borrowed light. You said the clouds look like paper before they opened into night. I found your picture in the rain, not outside but in my hands. I found your picture by surprise, like time I made a quiet plan. Your smile was younger than my memory, the room went still around the frame. I found your picture in the rain, and everything came back again. I didn't cry the way I thought I would. I only held the edges tight. Some memories don't ask to hurt us, they only ask to be seen right. I found your picture in the rain and saw the person I once was. I found your picture soft and faded, still carrying a little love. I placed it back beneath the letters, but not the way I used to hide. I found your picture in the rain, and thank that younger life. The shoebox closed without a sound. Rain kept falling, calm and light. My phone glowed under the blanket. Rain traced rivers down the glass. I wasn't trying to remember, I only meant to clear some space. But there you were between old updates, a thread I never could erase. The first line made me smile quietly. You asked if I had made it home. I typed 3 dots into the darkness, then watched the screen go cold. The rain was louder after midnight. The street below was almost blue. I kept scrolling through our small words like they still knew what to do. Reading old messages tonight, I hear the pauses in between. Reading old messages in silence, like watching rain fall on a screen. We said goodnight in different seasons, we made big plans on borrowed time. Reading old messages tonight, I meet who we were line by line. There were photos of a train map, a cafe name I can't recall, a voice note that I didn't open because I knew I'd hear it all. You sent a joke about the weather, I sent a heart and nothing more. It's strange how ordinary moments can wait behind a little door. My thumb stopped over one short sentence. You'll laugh about this later on. I didn't laugh, but I sat softer, as if the room had heard that song. Reading old messages tonight, I hear the pauses in between. Reading old messages in silence, like watching rain fall on a screen. We said goodnight in different seasons, we made big plans on borrowed time. Reading old messages tonight, I meet who we were line by line. I will not send another answer, the past is not a place to stay. But for a while I let the blue light bring your voice from far away. Reading old messages tonight, I close the years with gentle hands. Reading old messages, I noticed how much I finally understand. We were young and moving quickly, we did our best with little signs. Reading old messages tonight, I let us go line by line. The phone went dark beside my pillow. Rain kept speaking through the glass. Wipers move like tired dancers, headlights floated through the rain. We left the diner after midnight with paper cups and sleepy eyes. The radio was barely working, but we kept singing out of time. He took the longer road on purpose, past the bridge and empty stores. The city looked like melting silver, running down the windshield doors. You said the rain made streets look honest. I watched the red lights touch your face. We didn't need to say what happened, the silence knew its perfect place. The night we drove home through the rain still rolls beside me now and then. The night we drove home without answers, but somehow I felt safe again. Your hands were steady on the wheel. The world was blurred, but we were clear. keeps a small light here. Stop passed with no one waiting. A corner shop was closing down. You pointed out your childhood schoolyard behind a fence on the edge of town. I told you I was scared of changing. You said that everyone was too. And smile like that was not a weakness, just something people make it through. The river opened under streetlights, black and gold beneath the bridge. For once the future felt less heavy, like something waiting past the mist. The night we drove home through the rain still rolls beside me now and then. The night we drove home without answers, but somehow I felt safe again. Your hands were steady keeps a small light here. I don't remember where we parked or what we said before goodbye. I only know the rain was ending and dawn was hiding in the sky. The night we drove home through the rain returns when roads are shining wide. The night we drove home without answers still leaves a lantern in my mind. Your voice was calm above the engine. My heart was learning not to fear. The night we drove home through the rain still brings that small light here. Wipers slowed beside the sidewalk. Morning waited, pale and clear. The cafe door swung open slowly. Rainwater shimmered on the floor. I stopped for coffee after work. The evening crowd was moving slow. A group was laughing near the counter, their voices blending with the storm. Someone called across the room, a familiar name I knew too well. For one brief second, time stood still, like an old bell ringing again. The window carried city lights across the tables and empty cups. I stared outside and let the moment settle softly in the dark. I heard your name again tonight, floating through a crowded room. I heard your name again somehow, and every year returned too soon. Not because I miss those days, not because I want them back. I heard your name again tonight and followed an old track. The rain kept drawing lines outside along the buses passing by. I remembered small forgotten things, a bookstore and a summer sky. The way we argued over movies, the jokes that only we would know. Nothing felt dramatic now, just places I once used to go. The before I even noticed how lightly memories float. I heard your name again tonight, floating through a crowded room. I heard your name again somehow, and every year returned too soon. Not because I miss those days, not because I want them back. I heard your name again tonight and followed an old track. Some memories arrive like visitors. They knock and stay a little while, then leave behind a quiet feeling like rain fading mile by mile. I heard your name again tonight, but something felt a little new. I heard your name again and realized how much life has carried through. The story stayed where it belonged. The road kept stretching out ahead. I heard your name again tonight, then gently moved instead. The cafe lights grew warm and dim. Rain whispered down the glass. The rain was tapping on the balcony. My phone was glowing in the dark. I couldn't sleep past 2 in the morning. The apartment felt unusually still. The city hung beyond the curtains like a distant train crossing hills. I found your number by accident, buried beneath newer names. I stared at it for several minutes, watching nothing really change. My finger hovered near the screen. The room was silent except the rain. Some roads stay open in our minds, even when we never take them. I almost called you tonight, with the rain outside my door. I almost called you for a moment, like I had done before. Not to fix what time had changed, not to ask where we went wrong. I almost called you tonight, just to hear a familiar song. Closer toward 3:30, the street below had gone asleep. A taxi crossed the empty intersection, its headlights drifting through the mist. I wondered what I'd even say after all this passing time. Then I laughed because the answer never really crossed my mind. The rain slowed down across the rooftops. The city softened into gray. Some conversations stay unfinished, yet somehow find their place. I almost called you tonight, with the rain outside my door. I almost called you for a moment, like I had done before. Not to fix what time had changed, not to ask where we went wrong. I almost called you tonight, just to hear a familiar song. The screen went dark inside my head. days without returning to our lives. I almost called you tonight, but let the quiet answer first. I almost called you and discovered the feeling wasn't hurt. It was simply one small memory passing gently through the rain. I almost called you tonight, then let it fade again. The phone rested on the table. Morning waited with delight. Rain drifted across the station roof. The last train disappeared from sight. I was waiting for a delayed train near the edge of platform 3. People stood beneath their umbrellas, lost inside their own routines. A child was laughing by the ticket gate. Someone carried flowers home, and suddenly I wondered quietly where your life had gone. The announcement echoed overhead. The rails reflected silver light. I imagined different versions of the years beyond goodbye. Maybe you're happy now somewhere, walking streets I've never seen. Maybe you're happy now tonight, living out forgotten dreams. Maybe the things you hope for most finally arrive somehow. I hope they're waiting at your door. Maybe you're happy now. Settled over rooftops and blurred the buildings in the dark. I thought about the younger people we once were at the start. The plans we made, the roads we missed, the chances neither one could know. Life keeps turning unexpected pages long after people go. A train arrived beside the platform, doors opened with a gentle sound. I picked up my bag and realized some questions don't need answers now. Maybe you're happy now somewhere, walking streets I've never seen. Maybe you're happy now tonight, living out forgotten dreams. Maybe the things you hope for most finally arrive somehow. I hope they're waiting at your door. Maybe you're happy now. The rain no longer felt so heavy. The station seemed less cold somehow. Wishing someone well from far away can heal a heart without a sound. Maybe you're happy now somewhere beneath a different sky tonight. Maybe you're happy now and smiling in a warm and steady light. The train began to carry me onward, the future opening somehow. I looked ahead and softly thought, maybe happy now. The platform faded into darkness. Rain followed the tracks behind. The rain had nearly stopped falling. Only drops remained on the glass. I opened the window a little. Cool air drifted through the room. The city looked washed and peaceful beneath the fading clouds. Old notebooks sat beside the bookshelf. Photographs stayed in their place. Nothing needed sorting anymore. Nothing needed chasing. The streetlight shimmered after rainfall. The sky was turning pale and blue. Every memory felt quieter, like waves returning to the sea. Good night, old memories tonight. You stay with me long enough. Good night, old memories softly. Thank you for your gentle touch, for every road and every season, for every lesson left somehow. Good night, old memories tonight. I can rest now. The clock moved slowly toward morning. Birds were waking somewhere near. The room no longer felt crowded by things I used to fear. I smiled at all the different stories, the people, places, passing years. Each one helped me become someone, standing calmly here. The rain became a distant whisper. The darkness lifted from the sky. Some chapters close without a sound and leave a little light behind. Good night, old memories tonight. You stay with me long enough. Good night, old memories softly. Thank you for your gentle touch, for every road and every season, for every lesson left somehow. Good night, old memories tonight. I can rest now. I don't need to hold the pages. I don't need to read them through. The story will remain inside me, even when I turn it loose. Good night, old memories tonight. The rain has finally moved along. Good night, old memories softly. You've helped me grow so strong. The morning waits beyond the window. A brand new sky is coming through. Good night, old memories tonight. And hello to something new. The last raindrop slid from the glass. flight.